Happy Labor Day. This is Darren Benson with Performance Motorcoaches. This is our fourth and final video for Labor Day. We are headed up to an RV show and we look forward to some of the people in the Northeast come to check us out. Wanted to do this last little video on a 2023 Renegade Classic. We'll do some of this stuff inside and outside. It is pretty darn hot today. But this is a 45CBF, which is the 2-bath bunkhouse unit. There are some new additions for 2023. We'll kind of go with some of those things inside and out. But always appreciate you guys coming out and checking out the videos. Good looking coach, all white. We do a ton of white coaches. The reason why we do a ton of white coaches is two things. Either we get some people that, kind of like me, I'm not a swirls and twirls kind of guy. I like simplicity. Of course, you do save a fair amount of money doing a white coach over a painted coach. Can they be painted after the fact? Yes, they can. They all can be painted after the fact. Various paint places located throughout the country. It gets a little bit more difficult if they're already sealed up, but Renegade uses a paintable caulk that can be painted itself. So 45CBF, bunkhouse, bunk over. So this particular coach is designed for more of a large family. But we do get people that buy bunkhouse units because they know of the high resale that all the bunkhouses have. So it's not a bad coach to own regardless. It's not a bad coach to own even if you're some kind of interim. You're going to custom build a coach. So don't ever look at a bunkhouse as a bad unit because of the number of families that are getting out on the road. So we have a pretty good demand for these coaches continual all the time. This is built on a Freightliner Cascadia. This is actually a 116, so it's a little bit shorter hood Cascadia, 505 horse, but it's 1850 torque. So it's the same torque as what you would get in a 600 horsepower unit. The reason why, whenever this coach was being built, this was the only chassis available at that particular point in time, so we wanted to go ahead and build it, get it available for the consumers. This coach drives up and down the highway fine at 75 plus miles an hour. The only time you would really need that 600 horse is either A, bragging rights, or B, if you're towing a really large stacker. If you're out on the highway, you'll see the short-hood Cascadias running 80,000 pounds every day, all day long, so it's not really an issue. It's just very much people hear 600 horse and think they have to have 600 horse. So obviously preference, but this is 505 Cascadia, 1850 torque. We'll kind of cruise down the side. So 2023, they went to mid-entry all the way across the product line. So previous, you'll have a front entry, but everything will be a mid-entry, and they went to a rooftop awning. So 2022, you could do a side-mounted awning, just do one single side-mounted awning here. They went to the rooftop on 2023, and most of the units will go ahead and stack an additional awning back there. So those are pitched on it, come downwards. Do a good job at shading the entire side of the coach. We did not do any of the fake cans on the other side. Generally, we feel that most people that are buying these are buying them for more utility. At the same time, we didn't want to strip out any options and amenities as far as tile floor, hydronic heat, lithium batteries, or anything like that. But that's the reason why you'll see mid-entry pretty much all the way across the product line. We'll go ahead and get these baggage compartments while we're inside, and we'll get it pulled out. Try to beat the heat today a little bit. So all lined compartments, which I'm a huge fan of. I don't like carpet. I don't like things that kind of retain any kind of moisture at all. So it does have the 3/4 pass-through right here. So if you had a small ladder or a large table that would go underneath. There are little weep holes in here. So technically, as long as you didn't have any electric, you could technically wash them out. But for me, just taking a wet microfiber and wiping those out instead of having any kind of carpet at all. It does have the central vac here, with the central vac, it does have a 110 plug in there. And for me, even if you don't use the central vac inside or out, just having additional plugs pretty handy there. All the plugs or all your tools are right inside there. That 3/4 pass-through is really nice. Does not have a 110 inside there. We try to do as many 110 on the storage compartments as possible. We can easily add all that stuff here at the dealership. Very accustomed to that. 450 aqua, which is kind of standard all the way across the board. They don't even offer the 600 any longer on the Classic Series, but that does a pretty good job for really, really cold environments. It is plumbed to the engine, so the waste heat from the engine keeps that system nice and warm driving up and down the road. Forwards of your axle, you'll have one of these that's prepped with 12 volt and 110, so this is designed for an outdoor cooler if you'd like them. We typically don't add those from the factory because you can easily add them yourself or add them here at the dealership. And a lot of people, we get some people that want smaller coolers, and they put these monster coolers in there that take up most of your storage space there. There's a little air chuck right there that goes in on the other side. Large 43-inch outdoor TV. They do come away, which makes it pretty darn handy. So if you're at a little bit of an angle, you're tailgating, kind of hanging out, you go in the races, you can take and pull that out at a little bit of an angle. So we'll go ahead and get this dude fired up, get it pulled out. You'll see a few other coaches here. We did that on purpose, I can guarantee you that. Ease of entry into the cab. Pretty darn easy to see out both sides of this. We'll get the coach whipped around and then we'll continue the walk through on it. All right, so jump over here and we'll kind of see the ease of entry into the cab itself. Turn the lights off, keep them from bebopping. So you have a couple points to be able to get in and out of the cab. Of course, the Cascadia cab is substantially taller than your M2, but you can grab a hold of your door, you can grab this, you can grab that, you can grab your steering wheel. So almost like a jungle gym getting in. So if you have some mobility issues, it's still a relatively easy cab to get in and out of. One-piece windshield. All the new Cascadias went to a one-piece windshield. So even though it's not the same effect of a diesel pusher, to me, your dash air conditioner actually works. You have a couple $100 windshield versus a couple $1,000 windshield, coupled with the safety of having the engine and the frame out in front of you. I don't know, still kind of mesmerized by why people still do diesel pushers. I've been in this game for a long time. I've always been a fan of the truck chassis motorhomes and wouldn't own anything beyond that, just for safety, reliability, just to, something as simple as, the harness that runs through this air conditioner is a integrated harness that has laser etching on every single wire that runs to that. You jump in the diesel pusher world, and whatever butt splice they have at whatever station is what you're going to see back in those dashes. So it's just for a guy that's a super OCD, that things have to be just so. To me, starting with a manufacturer integrated cab just kind of makes sense. So we'll jump down the side here. 116s, the fuel tanks gets pushed back just a little bit. So chassis batteries right there. And then that's your air chuck right there to be able to top tires off there. Or if you're at a campground and need to be able to air up some toys, you could do that as well. So dual inverters. Classic is the only product that we sell that does have the dual inverter option, so we can run one air conditioner off of that. Of course, in other products we can easily add that in. All the 2023 stuff, you can mitigate some of the energy management system if you know what you're doing, to be able to add either additional inverters, to be able to take and run different things off of your inverters, whereas previous year models you were somewhat locked into certain options and amenities through that Firefly. And this is, this is pretty much about the maximum amount of batteries we could stick on this. Other than that, they'd have to go to the other side, which I wouldn't be a big fan of. So there's 3 270 amp hour batteries right there. Your grays and blacks, you have 75 each, and then you've got your heated wet bay right here. There's 12-volt heat pads on the bottom of your gray water, black water. You do have a little bit of flow through, so some of that heat would get into that additional wet bay, but you do have a hydronic register here, and you can monitor those temperatures on your Firefly system. All the baggage doors are all built same station for the entire product line. Whether you're talking about, say, a Valencia over there or the Classic, even all the way up to the Icon. Same baggage doors. They do a great job building the baggage doors. Another bonus about doing white is if I take and blast that door, I can call Renegade and we can get a new door built in about a day or two and generally get you back on the road with a brand new baggage door that's white in color and generally in about a week or two. Any larger coaches with tandem axle will have standard 12.5 generator coupled with 3 air conditioners. So anything 40 foot on a tandem will come standard with a large generator. £40,000 hitch here. So this assembly right here is rated at 40. This is rated at 30. Once you start putting other pieces, parts in there, that'll come down from there. I typically tell people anything 30,000 and below, you're going to be fine towing on this hitch. Anything beyond 30,000, you get some monster stackers. You can do it, but I would do some additional bracing. Most of the time, you'll have to upgrade to like a mini fifth wheel. The problem with those mini fifth wheels is you start getting so much weight further away from the coach, which is not recommended in my opinion. Security lights kind of all the way around. That's your backup light. This does not have what's called the deluxe lighting. You can get additional lights, so similar to that one that's running horizontal right there, you can run those lights vertically. It's not a very high-end light, so just not a big fan of that. I wish they had some better lighting choices for the back of these. Of course, we went through all these. My camera person just reminded me of this. Went through all these, so we'll go ahead and jump inside. 2023, they went to a wider entry door, which, I mean, to me, it's kind of no-brainer. They upgraded the door. They still don't use what I consider should be in these coaches. A little bit of push and nudge at times is getting the message a little bit further, but I mean, my preference was, for some people that have seen some of my other videos, Challenger makes an even more robust door, but baby steps. So a lot wider entry door. They went to solid surface on 2023. I know why they did it, because it's fast. They can bang it out. They can, have a guy just basically assembling that. It's already a purchase versus having to have a tile guy cut the tile and make everything work just so. But doesn't bother me one bit doing the solid surface. It's a nice clean look, and then of course coupled with the really wide entry as well. Because of the mid-entry, they've kind of flip-flopped this just a little bit. So most of the time on this particular floor plan in the past, we do the dinette over here and a couch or theater seats here, because your TV would be either here or on the wall there. Change things up a little bit. So kind of the idea in the 23 lineup is you'll see this kitchen kind of duplicated over and over and over, all the way from basically this coach all the way down to 38. So, wasn't a big fan of them doing this. It's the only option. I just don't like, my particular preference is not having the refrigerator this close. I guess if you needed a Gatorade or another drink in a heartbeat, you're right there. You can get to it without having to get up, get too far away. But this will be standard for at least another year as far as we know. Mesh over the top there. Of course, everything is all solid maple. This is burnished sable. Really happy with, they eliminated a lot of the color choices in 2023. This guy right here, and then we've done another one in the little bit lighter colored wood. I always have to have a reminder. Woodstock. So doing Woodstock, the reason why we chose a little bit darker ultra leather, there again, families, kids, if they have a grubby hand, you won't see it on this versus that little bit lighter. So we've almost come to the point where we're doing just 2 different color combinations and just kind of keeping it really, really simple. So the Woodstock is a little bit lighter color versus this burnished sable is a little bit darker. We've eliminated doing a lot of the wainscot. So the wainscot would be a stained board below your chair rail. Eliminated that just to kind of freshen them up, brighten them up, especially whenever you have darker colored furniture here. But very, very open inside here. You can get to your fridge. You can get in here. Big fan of the Cascadia because of this big cab cutout. So I'm 6 foot, so I don't have to duck down too far, but just having this big opening here makes a huge, huge difference. Let's take and flip-flop around and I'll show you. You can kind of get to everything. You can get to your pantry, open up your pantry, to get to your washer dryer here, be able to jump in your bunk beds, and even get to your mid-bath here. So ton of room inside this mid-bath. So if you need to come back while you're driving down the road, or if you're pulled over somewhere and don't want to have to open up your sides, you can get to everything here. I guess if you were really creative, you could probably even shower while you're driving down the road. Of course, you get back to the master bath here, or the master bed. This does have the full 80-inch long mattress, and so the idea here is that actually slides underneath your cabinetry there. In a pinch, you could easily use all of this with it all closed up. So we'll go ahead and pause for a little bit and get everything opened up for you guys. All right, so you can see how much extra floor space you have here. So much room for activities. So lots of open space right here. These cab seats do turn around, so you could bring a portion of the cab kind of back in. You'll have a little bit of things blocking it off, but if you need some additional seating, that's one thing that kind of is lacking once you start packing 2 full baths and bunk beds and washer dryer. You eliminate some overall seating, but all in all, I mean, you could accommodate 3 there, accommodate 4 there. 7 people, that's a lot of people in a motorhome. That's about 5 more people than I would like. But residential refrigerator all the way across the board. The electrical, they've moved them around a little bit. Obviously, I'd rather lose it right there than losing it in a pantry right there. And so some of your Firefly is back in here, and then that's the Touch 5 monitor right there. So full Victron system, including these solar controllers. Only 30 amps on this because you just have 375 watt panels, but that's something we can easily upgrade. The nice thing, if we do upgrade it, I mean, we basically slap a new controller in it, add some more panels up top, and we're done. Everything will fully integrate into that guy. So all soft close drawer glides. They are dovetail construction as well. Got a little area right back in there. Put the subwoofer back in there. This particular backsplash I really like to call this Stone Project Black. Just kind of a nice modern look. I'm kind of over and done with the small little glass panels that glass. That's what I'm looking for. The small glass backsplashes of the past. So awning controls are all the way up there. So still a fair amount of room, and then of course we'll get back to this monster pantry over here. Non-recessed cooktop here, but obviously this guy right here, single basin sink. The TV will come away from the wall. So if you want to put it at a little bit of an angle, so if you had some theater seats here, if you want to just do couches, you kind of do whatever you might want to do, and then take and move that TV around, it'll pop into place. Like I said, this really nice large entryway. And then for 23, they started doing some additional Firefly panels. So you'll have this guy. You'll actually have one right back here. So you wouldn't have to get up. Of course, there's an app-based system to be able to run everything, but kind of is handy to have some additional pads here and there. Washer dryer right here. There again, all this stuff could come out if you're like, man, we have to have a lot more. Say you're a racing team and needed some area to be able to put like a race suit. If you needed to be able to put your Sunday best, you'd do that in there as well. Open up this monster right here. So you got a fair amount of storage right there. You'd probably have to have one of those long little pick-me-up type deals to get up in there, but they've done a good job with all of these. And small little stuff. They put these little blocks right here, and the idea is before the metal hits, that little block will take and push it open and not scratch it. I'm not going to attempt it too much because I don't want to be wrong and scratch it, but they do a good job at small little things to kind of little small attributes to kind of make it seem like a more fit and refined product. I changed this up a little bit, so you do have the hydronic register right here, so we have a pretty even distribution of heat all the way around. They do access panels, so if you start looking at things, so access panel right there for your drain, access panel right there for all your plumbing. So do a good job there. Drawers beneath there, and then we went ahead and did some monitors in there. Really didn't catch that whenever it was being built. I'm not a big fan of monitors. Most kids have iPads and whatnot, but just preference. All of your seating locations, all your sleeping locations, catch this right here. They've gone to USB-C, which is pretty darn minimal, but I think it's kind of a big deal having that. Pocket door that stretches all the way across here. It's actually a dual. I do this. Well, that's one thing we're going to have to work on, because this should stay in place. Here we go. Just got to force the magnets out. And it actually does last, believe it or not. Go back into place here. That's just some added security measure right there. This does have the big 43-inch TV with full closet back behind. It is cedar lined, so there again, that will force the egress above the head of the bed. You could take and change this up and actually do an egress here with a smaller, like a 32-inch TV there. But decent sized closet. You just have to have some of those, like a nice wooden hanger to be able to turn the head, because it'll have to go a little bit of an angle there back behind the TV. Large drawers underneath here that do pull out. Cabinets above, so pretty good sized room there as well. We get the question quite a bit of, hey, can I build? I don't like carpet on the slide boxes. No. The answer is no, until they come up with some product which I would think would be relatively easy because other manufacturers do it, but that's something you're just going to have to live with. I guess if you were super OCD, I used to take and have canvas covers made to go over carpet in both, so I could take it out and just clean it off with relative ease. So we'll talk about this guy right here. So 80-inch by 66, and then dual 75-gallon water tanks below here. Everything is really easy to get to, very serviceable, and then very easy to take and winterize. You can just suck your RV antifreeze in through that guy. So anybody can winterize these dudes. You do have 2 hydronic registers below the bed as well. And then you do have panel underneath here, so I can take and turn every single light off, turn them back on. I can do some additional lights. I can do start my generator, and then I can actually drop the panel lights on those panels right there. Caught that. We'll come back here to the master. All the shelves in these cabinets are all convertible, so you can move them upward or downward. So if you had something that was relatively large, if you need to take and add additional, we could technically order some more shelving from Renegade and just be able to add more to them. decent sized storage underneath there. Do have a hydronic register. And then I'll plop back into the rear solid surface shower. The fair amount of room here. This is probably one of the bigger showers. I guess this shower would be shared with a few other models, but once you get some of the smaller mid bass, that shower gets a little bit tight. But decent sized room here. It does have the backsplash inlaid in here, and then a little area right here for shampoo and conditioners, and then perhaps for me to shave my legs. And this does flop up here, so decent sized room here. You do have a max air fan right there to take and evacuate all the warmed air, all the humidity out of there as well. So really happy with all of the additions for 2023. The color choices, some of the tile they had in the past, they didn't bother me per se, but I mean, this is just kind of my go-to, and it was so a few of the colors that they added to me just kind of propelled the product a little bit, took some of the sting away with the customization that they've taken out of the Classic, but we'll kind of see how long that lasts. Just really don't know kind of the direction, but all in all, still a somewhat customizable product in that you can do a few different stain choices. You can do different floors. I mean, you could technically build this coach with vinyl floors. You could technically build it with Formica countertops, but you'll pretty much see everything kind of go to some sort of standardization in time for sure. But always appreciate you guys coming out, liking the videos. Like I said, big day for videos, kind of back to back about all the different products. Make sure you guys come out, check out our website. It's PMCRV, as in Performance Motorcoaches RV, recreational vehicle, pmcrv.com. Check out our website, and then call the store. We are closed today, but you can call the store, or you can send an email, Darren@performancemotorcoaches.com. Coaches is ES, so you can always send me an email, Darren@performancemotorcoaches.com. 7 days a week, 24/7, send me an email, and I'll try to get back to you guys. But make sure you guys keep on coming back. Appreciate the time.